Hey, welcome to Life Knowledge. My name is Justin Alphabet. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe down below. Stay to the end of the video so you get all the information that you need. Today we're going to be talking about why beautiful women get cheated on. A lot of times in modern culture, you see in the news where these beautiful women get cheated on. Models, just various people in general. And the most recent one that happened was Adam Levine, I think his name is. Adam Levine, the singer from Maroon 5, and his wife, Bihati Prinsloo, I think is her name. Or I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct, but um, it's supposedly there was this huge scandal where this other model said that Adam said that she looked really beautiful and asked if he could name his daughter after this model that he supposedly cheated with, right? And the couple things that you're going to want to know are there are different levels to men and there are different levels to women. And as unfortunate as this is, not all people are equal. Not everyone is equal, and that can be understood through a variety of different things. People like to pretend that people are equal in life, but it's not true. There are privileges for certain types of people, and there are privileges for certain people in general, whether it be through gender, race, ethnicity, location, status, power, responsibility, respect. It doesn't matter what it is. There are different levels. And one of these examples that I'm going to give you is pretty privilege. A woman who is pretty has a lot of privileges over a woman who does not. Obviously, women in general have more privilege than men do in specific life experiences. Men don't get a free pass on everything. If a woman messes up and she's pretty in like a workforce situation, chances are that she will be forgiven much easier because she's beautiful or pretty than if she were not beautiful or pretty, or if she were a man. And that's been statistically proven because of how humans are wired. Men typically are more visual. We see things that are beautiful and pretty and we perceive them to be higher value. So we kind of base a woman's value off of her outer appearance. And that's typically detrimental to a relationship when you don't have connecting personalities. For example, if Adam Levine just married Behati Prinsloo for her looks, her beauty, looks fade, right? Looks don't last forever, and personality is what helps people continue their relationship beyond just the looks stage. So that's why a lot of times in Hollywood or, celebrity relationships don't last because most of these relationships are based on status and wealth and looks. And if you look at Leonardo DiCaprio, he's had 20 or 30 different girls that he's dated over the years, which are all under the age of 25. He's almost 50 years old. And all these women are beautiful, right? They look good. However, he hasn't found a woman that he can truly connect with on a personal level, like personality-wise. There were some jokes made that as soon as the women he dates reach the age of 25, they're too old for him to date anymore, which is kind of hilarious. It may or may not be true because a lot of these women he's been dating have been under the age of 25 or something like that. And it's a recurring theme over the past, 20 years of his dating life and experience and things. But the point that I'm trying to bring up here is that beautiful women often get cheated on because they've had a free pass in life and they haven't had to develop their personality. Women who get everything they want instantaneously oftentimes have a personality of instantaneous gratification. And when you have instantaneous gratification, you become easily dissatisfied with many things in life, and you have to, um, you kind of get dissatisfied with a lot of things in life. And unfortunately, like, for example, like with Leonardo DiCaprio, he can give you everything in life, right? He has power, money, status, wealth, etc. He has everything that a man should and could have to be a highly successful man. But when you are a beautiful woman, all you have to do is be pretty, right? All you have to do is be beautiful enough to catch his eye, and he will, basically take you. A woman does not have to be wealthy to be attractive. A woman, or to a man at least. A woman does not have to be educated to be attracted to a man. A woman does not have to, have any type of respect to be attractive to a man. She doesn't really have to have anything besides looks to be attractive to a man. And so if all you bring to the table is looks, then that can be very detrimental. A high status man can pretty much do everything for himself already. And so it's kind of hard to figure out what you can do for that man. So you have to get creative, right? And for example, like a man like Leonardo DiCaprio, he has a maid. He doesn't need a woman who can cook. He doesn't need a woman who can clean. He doesn't need, a woman who can really do anything for him, basically besides pleasure, I would say. And he could even hire somebody for that too, because he has the money and wealth to do it. So you have to have a personality is what I'm trying to say here. You can't just have looks. You have to also develop a personality. Or, a man may find somebody else. And so that's kind of the point of this video is a lot of women, beautiful women in Hollywood, get cheated on because they've risen to the top through their beauty, through their, talent maybe. But that doesn't keep somebody. A personality is what keeps somebody in the future. Commitment. And oftentimes women don't really realize how men think about intercourse and think about life. Women and men are very different. Men are more logical and work through thought, and women are more typically emotional, and they work through emotions and feelings. And when women have intercourse, they use their feelings, and when men have intercourse, they typically use their thoughts and their logic. And that's not to say that that can't be switched, right? Sometimes women can strategically have intercourse, and sometimes men can strategically have, or can use their feelings towards intercourse as well. It's not a perfect science. However, that's the stereotype. Men are typically more masculine and more logical, and women are typically, stereotypically, more feminine and more feelers and emotional. And so a woman can't really have a connection or through intercourse without having feelings and they want to feel connected. And men also do to a point, but we also think about it in a slightly different way. For example, if you look at the Bible, in Christianity, there's a king named King Solomon, and he had like 400 wives or something like that, right? And the reason he could do that was because he had a vast amount of wealth. He had a lot of money and a lot of resources, so he could have that many women, right? And so the same kind of still applies for today. A lot of men who are high status have an abundance of wealth, have an abundance of, capital, power, responsibility, respect. And so more women want them. Women want men who have power and respect because they feel safe and secure with men who have power and respect. And in the modern culture, obviously it's frowned upon to have more than one wife to a point. It's semi becoming more of a thing through polyamory or other things like that, but there are often a lot of men who can't handle that. But various kings throughout history have done it, and so there are some low status men who think that they can do it as well. However, high status men can do it, but it often can be detrimental if they lie about it. The difference between a high status man and a low status man is King Solomon, he didn't have to lie about his concubines. He didn't have to lie about his 400 wives. He didn't have to tell them all that he was seeing other women, because they all knew. They were all on board with it. They were all okay with it as well. And that was the point, right? Like, he had a lot of status and wealth and he wanted to share it and probably have more children. Men do want to spread their seed and have children, and that's a good thing. However, it's not good if they're low status. If they don't have power, if they don't have wealth, that can leave a lot of single mothers out there. That can leave a lot of broken families and broken homes if the father can't be around. And there are a lot of cases, a lot of statistics, I guess, where it says that families that have the father and the mother in the home together are much more healthier and happier for the children and for the entire family. And that's just statistics. Obviously, if you don't have a man and you're a woman watching this, don't just find any man, but having a man in the home who's a good, respectable man is better than having no man. And obviously, if you're a man watching this, the opposite is true as well. Having a woman around is going to help your life and help you much more than being single forever as well. So men and women think about intercourse differently. A man can be with many women and not be too attached to them. He can have multiple wives or multiple partners or multiple people, women, that he can be with, and he thinks about intercourse as more of like a fun kind of thing, or release or whatever. However, women typically, their emotions are tied in as well, and it's a lot bigger of a risk for them to have multiple sexual partners. The reason it's more of a risk for women is because, one, there's pregnancy, right? You could be pregnant from a risky partner, a man who couldn't provide for you, which is risky. Obviously, today in modern society, we have some laws in place to protect women through financial divorce courts or alimony or father, biological payment plans or whatever you want to call them, where the men are still liable for their actions, which, is important, because raising a child by yourself is obviously not ideal. However, that's why it's more risky for women, is because you never know what kind of man you're going to get. And that's why women typically go for men who have more power and status. And if you look at Nick Cannon, for example, Nick Cannon is a multimillionaire. He has a lot of children now with many different women because he can afford it, because he can actually, do it. But we have some guys out here who are spreading their seed like wildfire, and they are perceived to be powerful or respected or high value, high quality guys, but they're not. And they just leave you high and dry, and then you never see them again. And so women have to be more selective. Women have to be more careful. And so all the women are trying to go for the highest status man that they can find, the best man that they can find, right? And so that means that as a woman, you have to make sure that you are taking care of every need of your man's that you possibly can. Because if not, there's another woman who's going for your man. Men who are in relationships are the highest target by all your friends, all your female friends. If you have female friends who are not in a relationship, they're probably looking at your man. If you're not aware of that, you should be, because that's life. Women like men who have women. It's pre-selection, it's hypergamy, where men kind of who have a lot of women around them will somehow attract other women. Women will see that you have women as a man, and they will be way more attracted to you. It's social status, it's social hierarchy. And so being aware of that as a woman, you have to be aware that there are other women out here trying to get your guy. You can't just be blind to that. You can't just believe that, willy-nilly, there's not going to be some girl waltzing in here who's prettier than you, who's better than you, who's going to, cook and clean for your man, and think that, you're not doing anything, or just being pretty is enough. You can't just be pretty and expect to just have everything go right for you. That's not how life works. As a woman, you have to be a higher value woman as well. You have to be able to cook and clean and take care of children, or do something for the man that he cannot do for himself. And typically when you do that kind of thing, it's typically cooking, cleaning, and things that the man doesn't want to do for himself or is not as good at. Men are not super good at cleaning or cooking or taking care of children. And something that you can do as a woman too is you can help him carry on his name. A man is always trying to have children so that he can continue his legacy, right? Legacy is important to some men, and to especially high value men. They want to have children because children bring joy ultimately. And being a man is horrible sometimes. It's very stressful. We have to do a lot of things that women don't ever have to do. We have to, kill things. We have to fight other men. We have to do things that you would never be able to do. Only men are able to fight other men, typically. Stereotypically. Only, men can protect you. Only men can provide. Obviously, women can provide and protect to a certain level, but not to the level a man can. A real man can. A high status man can. And there are levels of logic that are required to lead as well. By having a menstrual cycle, it can be detrimental to a woman's ability to lead, because 1 week out of the month, her hormones are all over the place, and she may not be in a space where, she can lead. And so that's something to be aware of. A man, his hormone cycles are daily through testosterone. So like his testosterone levels are really high in the morning. They kind of dip down in the middle of the day, and then they go back up in the evening time. And men have like a daily cycle, essentially. So that kind of makes it a little bit better for men in some aspects of leading and leadership and power and dynamics of that nature. And it makes women better for other things as well. Through their cycles of estrogen and things like that, they are made for other things as well, like nurturing and loving and feelings and emotion. And obviously all of this is stereotypical. All of it's not perfect. And there are various chemical things that you can do to yourself. You can take hormone injections, you can take testosterone injections, or whatever you want. You're able to do whatever you want with your life. But this is just a stereotypical masculine feminine dynamic that I'm talking about. So this is why women get cheated on. Really beautiful women. And if you don't want to get cheated on, make sure that you are the best thing in your man's life. Make sure that you're making his life easier instead of harder. That's what men want. Men want someone who's going to make things easier for them. Men want someone who's going to help them with things that they can't do for themselves. And we have stressful lives as men, as high value men. Like, we are doing a lot of things. We're juggling a lot of things. We're getting stuff done. We're leading. We're making money. We're out here working on our physicality. We're competing with other men. And it's so stressful to have a woman who's going to like make your life harder. It makes you not want to be with them. So make sure that your man wants to be with you. Do whatever it takes to make him want to be with you, because that's ultimately what's going to keep him. So find out what that is and do it a lot. Obviously, it could be something involving intercourse. That can also help. It never hurts. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let's have the day you deserve. Let's level up, and I'll see you in the next one.